woman.
Yeah, I was.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
The woman's daughter was your friend, right?
Yeah, which was her daughter.
Which is right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does she know that this is still going on between her mother and you?
Yeah. She knew that was going on by the time I was 16 and stuff like that. I was like, hey, I'm gay. So it was like, whatever,
So at 16, you just say, I'm gay, this is
really way before then, because I remember her telling me one time that she said, know what, Wanda? She said, when I get through with you, you ain't gonna never let nobody treat you the way that I do.
Did you ever ask her why? Why did she pick you? Why does she treat you that way?
Because she was angry with my mother about something that happened. She told me later. She wanted that happened with them. I got caught up in grown stuff, I guess. But she used me to hurt my mother. So she told me later.
Okay. So when your mother, let's go up to when your mother finally finds out what's going on.
Well, another time I tried to reach it. Do you remember the newspaper Ann Landers back then?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote an article to Ann Landers about what was happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to my mother, but I didn't say it was me. I was talking about a daughter who was over there with her best friend and all that. And I tried to reach out that time then, but my mother still didn't catch on. But when I graduated from high school, I believe that's when I told my mother. And my mother was really hurt and sick behind that.
So how did you tell your mother? I mean, how do you tell your parents? How do you go to your parents and say,
Before I even told my mother, my sister Tina, I used to hide from my sister Tina because I didn't want her to know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot remember how exactly I told my mother, mm-hmm. because keep in mind, I was still angry with her.
Mm-hmm. And it must have been hard trying to keep certain things hidden, like from your family. Because how many siblings you had?
I have 3 sisters and 1 brother.
Okay. So you was trying to go around all of this and deal with this. That takes a really strong person to go through all of that. You were able to go through all of that, and you're telling me you graduated out of high school, but then how were you able to do that? That's amazing.
Now that I'm more like,
look at you today is where I'm going.
I
know what I'm saying.
And you know what? Now that I'm more like godly and stuff, it was all God. He knew that He had something later in life for me to do. That's all I could say, because she was horrible. She tried to introduce me to drugs and everything. I used to.
And I got to go back. I'm still trying to figure out your friend. Yeah. She knows that this is going on.
Yeah.
I'm not understanding that household situation at the time.
I got to tell you, like, it was not just her. It was 5 more sisters. She had 7, 8 kids.
So was she
so they all
like
knew
that
was
to her daughters?
She wasn't doing anything to them, but they was afraid of her too, because back then everybody need a place to live and all that. It was like she manipulated them. She manipulated them with verbal and name calling and stuff like that. She just manipulated me bed wise. So they was afraid of her. By the time I was 16, 17, they all knew what was happening then.
Okay, so she just put it, asked.
Yeah.
I don't know, so I'm asking. So the woman was gay. She never had a man in the house and none of that. She was just straight up.
No. She was not gay at all.
No?
She was not gay. She hadn't even never had a woman.
So what she was talking,
she just did it to me. Stuff. She just did it to me. She never had one before. She just did. Now, she used to actually, it was so much in the house. That's why I'm going to write this book, because she used to actually bring me in there, and she used to make me watch stuff like that. And she's telling me, this is just something to do. Don't you ever get, forget that this is just something to do.
And the men that she brought in was okay with you sitting there watching, or she had a peephole for you?
No, she would make me. They didn't care. I mean, a man is a man. I just begged her not to let. I used to beg her, no, just don't let them touch me. She didn't care. She didn't care. But she done a lot of bad things. She done a lot of bad things to me. She done a lot of bad things to me.
So let's talk a little bit. I want to go back to you approached your mother. You told your mother. Now from that point, what's happening now?
I don't even remember how I did it, how I said it.
Okay, but once you told her, let's talk about what was the reactions. What was her response at this point?
You know what? By the time I told my mother, by this time she started paying more attention, because now I'm out here. You know, I'm independent. I'm gay. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm just gay. And so my mother didn't have a problem with me being gay. She had a problem with that was her best friend that knew me as a baby. You know,
So did she ever approach her?
She didn't. Not approach her. I wish she would have.
I was going to ask you, did that bother you today? Did that ever bother you?
I wish my mother would have. Honestly,
why she didn't approach you? Did you ask? Why? Why wasn't it that she wasn't approached afterwards?
I don't know. My mother told me I was going to kill her. I was going to have her killed, whatever. I probably, by this time, begged her. No, please. You know, I probably went through all that. Didn't want her to do nothing, you know.
Oh, so basically that's what I want to know. Was it a case that you told your mother and you said, hey, just leave it alone, don't say nothing, I'm who I am now, it's too late, and was that
it
somewhat...
was a case where I said, I felt that you didn't do nothing then, and now I'm happy who I am now. I'm okay now. So just drop it. Let's just leave it alone.
So now your mom is now your family. Let's talk a little bit about how did your sisters, how did your brother, how did they take this? I mean, even though, like you said, I'm a tomboy, I was a tomboy. So how did they take it once you just said this is what's happening?
You know what, me and my sister, we always been like on the cool side, like we always talked about a lot of stuff. But what happened was, by me leaving those few years, I believe that separated me and my sister and made my sister more close. This is my opinion. I made them more close to each other than me, because I left for some years.
So let me ask you before we go too further with that, because I have a couple of more questions as far as your family, your siblings. This woman that Oral. You know I'm bad with names.
Oria.
But now this woman, she had some kids.
8.
Now, one of her kids or something, were they some kin to you? I think you mentioned that earlier when we were talking. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Her very first child is my first cousin, because my mom was with my dad, and my dad's brother, he had a baby by her. So we're cousins. We got 2 fathers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so was this going on around the time that she was messing around with him?
No. This when my mom and her was back in high school.
Okay.
So her only son is our first cousin.
Okay.
Which was my dad's nephew. My mother and her was best friends, which means they've had 2 brothers, the whole thing, you know, close. But she told me later that she did everything to hurt me. She wanted to hurt my mother, and I was the one to do it. But she told me that later, after all that mistreatment.
All right, I want to ask you one more question pertaining to that. Then I want to go back to your siblings. Did she ever apologize? Did she ever come back
and apologize to me?
Yeah.
No, she said that I was already going to be gay. She ain't do nothing but help the women out. She said, you was going to be like that. I just helped them out. I just made you a better lover.
But I don't understand with her not being gay. How could she figure that out? How I mean, it's you just be amazed what goes on in people's everyday lives. And I'm glad you're telling this story because, first of all, it's helping some of our younger people that this could possibly be happening to. And do not just sit there and don't say anything. It's not. I mean, because my Wanda B is so strong, is such a strong person, everybody don't turn out this way. Everybody is not strong enough to make it and end up with a good life and able to tell their story and write books and everything else, you know. So I wanted to kind of touch back again on your siblings. You were saying earlier that your sisters were kind of close, but you have a brother as well, right?
I got one brother.
How was your relationship with your brother?
My relationship.
Hold on, we have a caller. I want you to hold that thought because we want to talk about your relationship with your brother.
Okay.
Welcome to Full Circle. How are you today?
Hi, how are you?
All right. Now, who's calling?
This is Tina Green, Wanda B. older sister.
Wow, I was just getting ready to start talking about you. No. How are you this evening?
I'm good.
You was calling in. You have a comment?
Yes, I want to tell my sister that she know I got her back, but I wanted to remind her of a little something. She's probably going to laugh about it now, but I remember when I found out about her, we was up to one of her friends' house, and somebody else had told me. I chased my sister downstairs, and she ran behind my mother.
So how did you actually feel about it once you found out?
Well, you know what? We got that kind of love. It really did. What made me mad is I thought me and her was real close, and everybody knew it except for me.
Wow.
That's what I was mad at her about.
So you was always that wonderful, supportive sister. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. It was so funny. She was telling, I said, oh, she ain't going to tell him I chased her.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. What's your name again? Tina. Thank you so much, Tina. You must call in again to Full Circle. Keep my number, okay?
I sure will. Tell my sister I love her.
Tell your sister you love her. You can hear her. She love you.
Good night, Tina.
Bye. Okay, I told you to hold that thought because I knew once I got to laughing on the phone, I was going to miss it. Let's talk about your brother.
In the
You all's relationship. Yeah, let's talk about that.
In the beginning, my brother, he was like, had this thing going on, like I'm trying to be more man than him and stuff like that. You know, in the beginning, keep in mind, it was a long time ago.
Oh, so he didn't have a problem with you being gay. He just had a problem with you probably being a little more manly than him. Really?
You know what? He had a problem.
Tell brother call in. You call in too, brother. Call in.
My brother had a problem. My brother had a problem with himself, I guess. But by me being a guy, like, you know, by the time I was finished high school, you know, I'm all out now. You know, I didn't care, you know. And I can only say that this is why I try to tell the life of me as a stud, because I didn't understand how guys takes people that look like me.
Hold on, we have another caller.
You know.
Welcome to Full Circle. May I ask who's calling?
Yep, this is Tony from Las Vegas. How you doing today?
Hi, Tony from Las Vegas. How are you?
Okay.
Did you have a question or a comment?
Yes. First of all, I want to say, Wanda B, you're looking good.
I know.
Yeah, you know, Obama just recently passed this bill. What has that done for you? Has that changed your life? Just tell me how that bill influenced you, and what would you like for us to, as viewers, take from that bill?
You mean the 50 states being legal?
Yep.
What I feel about it?
Yes.
I feel like it's a wonderful thing because I mean my wife and I already been together 21 years, you know, and we already been married. We already got married. So I think that I think it should have been happened. I think that it's only fair because we have got to understand that we are not here to judge. We're not God.
Exactly, and that was where we were going with this. We will be talking in a little bit about that, actually, because we actually wanted to talk a little bit about the celebration that how many people has been celebrating it, and Wanda B will be talking in a little bit about the seriousness of it. So we want to go a little bit to the back end of it. So as you watch the show this evening, Tony, you'll get a chance to get a few more answers to your question.
Okay, thank you. And Wanda B, like I said, you're looking good.
I appreciate your call.
Thanks for calling in. All right, bye-bye. So again, like I said, we spoke a little bit about your brother, and coming up, now you grown, and I'm just trying to get a little bit out of what you all can be expecting in this book. So now you done got with your wife. Let's talk a little bit about how you met your wife. And I know I'm probably kind of skipping some stuff, but I want to get to a lot of important things.
Right, but I got that, but just piggybacking real fast off my brother, because I wanted to give an example how when you're like me, how the struggle of looking like me and being true to yourself can sometimes be dangerous. I really want to touch on that.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that.
That's why I wanted to use a close example first. What made me experience the fact that I have to be true to me is because of the thing that happened with my brother. My brother and I really only had one bad incident as far as my lifestyle. And that was the time that I had a whole bunch of stud friends around in the house. And we were in the house, and he came over many years ago. And they was all, studs, and we just drinking.
We got one more call. Do not lose that thought.
Okay.
Welcome to Full Circle.
Hi, this is Lynette here.
Hi, Lynette. Did you have a question yet?
I keep getting cut off. It's okay, though.
Oh,